Okay, it's time now for the day's business news. Stephen Carroll is here. Stephen, let's start with this big story, Greece, and it's a very important list.
Yes, another deadline for Greece today. The country is set to present a list of economic reforms to its international lenders later this Monday to secure a 4-month extension to its bailout. Now, the deal was agreed with eurozone finance ministers at an emergency meeting on Friday. Athens has to convince the EU, the European Central Bank and the International Monetary Fund that it won't upset the delicate budget balance after many long years of austerity. Kate Moody's been looking at the details of what they'll propose.
Another race against the clock this weekend as the Greek government scrambled to put together a list of draft reforms for a Monday deadline. It will be examined by eurozone finance ministers and, if approved, will unlock 4 months' worth of funding for Athens, €7.2 billion.
And we are pretty confident, actually we are very confident, that that list is going to be approved by the institutions, and therefore we are embarking upon a new phase of stabilization and growth.
One minister told Greece's Mega Channel this weekend the cabinet was focusing on making the civil service more effective and combating tax evasion. Further details were published by Germany's Bild newspaper, which reported the government hopes to raise €2.5 billion in taxes on wealthy tycoons, a similar amount in back taxes owed by businesses and individuals, and another €2.3 billion by cracking down on illegal petrol and cigarette smuggling. The compromise reached with EU finance ministers on Friday has attracted criticism from within the ruling Syriza party, with one top member accusing the government of betraying its anti-austerity commitments. But the Cyprus government insists it just needs breathing room to negotiate a more favourable, longer-term deal. It says it still plans to spend up to €400 million on immediate poverty relief and hire up to 11,500 civil servants this year.
Well, the European markets are getting their first chance to react to that news, which of course was agreed late on Friday night, and they've opened up at the start of trading this Monday. In fact, we've seen the DAX in Frankfurt hit a new record high on the back of that news coming from Greece. So obviously investors relieved more than anything else, I can imagine, that there seems to be some sort of way forward. Oil and gas shares across the board, the biggest gainers in Europe, as prices there continue to stabilise. Over in Asia, we'd seen shares there also rise after that deal in Greece. Shares in Shanghai, of course, are closed because of the Chinese New Year celebrations. Hong Kong back in business after a couple of days off. The Hang Seng just slightly up, but you can see the Nikkei in Tokyo getting slightly more gains there, up 0.7%.
Okay, let's turn to the bank HSBC next, which is facing another embarrassing revelation as its results are published.
Yeah, that's right. The bank has confirmed that its chief executive uses a Swiss bank account to hold his bonuses. This comes after Britain's Guardian newspaper reported that Stuart Gulliver had some £5 million or €6.7 million in an account in Switzerland controlled by a Panamanian company. Mr. Gulliver is tax domiciled in Hong Kong, and the bank says that he pays all appropriate taxes there and in the UK. There's no suggestion of any wrongdoing, but it comes after the Swiss leaks revelations that the bank had encouraged its clients to avoid tax using Swiss accounts. Now, HSBC has just reported in the past couple of minutes its profits for 2014. It's reported a fall in net profit of 17% to just under $19 billion. That's much more than had been expected. Pre-tax profits were expected to fall by 7%, so a big fall in profits reported there by HSBC. We don't have the details of those figures yet, but I'll bring them to you later on as soon as we have them. For the moment, let's move on with a look at some of the day's other business stories. And the cement giant Holcim says a $40 billion merger with Lafarge is on track to be completed in the first half of this year. The company saw like-for-like sales rise 3% in the last 3 months of 2014. Holcim says that growth was boosted by sales in India and in the Philippines. There's been another big deal in the pharmaceutical sector. The Canadian drug maker Valiant is to buy Salix Pharmaceuticals in a deal worth $14.5 billion. The deal's a win for Valiant, which made several unsuccessful bids for the Botox maker Allergan last year. And the French nuclear giant Areva has warned it's expecting to report losses of €4.9 billion for 2014. And the company's not due to report its results until next week. It didn't specify the reason for the bigger than expected losses, but it's expected to be linked to the delayed completion of its next generation nuclear reactors, their shares opening down 2.6% in Paris.
Finally, 2015 could be the year of the pay rise, for some at least.
Yes, at least if you live in the United Kingdom. This according to a report from the economic forecasters EY Item Club. They say there's going to be the first real increase in wages in the UK since 2007. That means a wage increase that's greater than inflation. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that everyone's wages are going to jump dramatically. What's actually happened is, because Britain has fallen into deflation, like the eurozone and like other parts of the world as well, mainly due to the falling price of oil, as a result, people should feel richer, although we don't necessarily think that we will. So I wouldn't go spending that money just yet, Eve.